All right, K-State, welcome back. Hey, good to see you guys. 2019, brand new year, new me, new year, that whole thing. But hey, I'm so glad to be with you guys tonight. They said 49 days. 49 days since we have gotten to be back together here at Stumo Night. Guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to kick off the semester with you guys. I know it's the spring semester. It is icy outside. We're talking about who had fallen down. I was doing a shovel in my driveway yesterday morning, fell down twice. I was just like, are any of my neighbors looking at this? I kind of look like a fool. But it's icy out there, but it is the spring semester. But hey, I am curious, how many of you guys made a New Year's resolution? Raise your hand. Okay, a few of us. How many of you guys are still going good, going strong on your New Year's resolution? Okay, they said 80% that end up failing that within the first 2 weeks. Some of you guys might have had that New Year's resolution to start working out every single day. Some of you guys might have had the New Year's resolution to not work out. I'm never going to go to the rec. Maybe that was your New Year's resolution. Maybe it was your resolution was, I'm going to go to class every single day. Any guys ever make that resolution? No? We made one. Maybe it was, hey, I'm going to floss every single night before bed. You got any flossers in here? Hey, wow, that's impressive. Flossing every night before bed, that's impressive. But hey, it's a new year. It is 2019. And I don't know if you guys have seen this going around on Facebook, but it's kind of the 10-year picture challenge. I saw Steph Curry do it, Dwayne Wade did it, where you show a picture of yourself in 2009 and then now, 2019. So I was like, hey, I'll maybe get a little bit vulnerable with you guys. I'll show you guys my 10-year picture challenge. So this is me back in 2009. This is back where the selfie was just kind of becoming a new thing. I'm in the back of a car. I don't know what face that is. But the only thing that has changed in 10 years is my haircut, and I'm a child now. And so that's Titus. He's 9 months. A lot has changed over the last 10 years. But hey, 5 weeks of break that you guys just had. 5 weeks. I hope you guys had a great break. How many of you guys went skiing or snowboarding or something? A lot of skiing, a lot of snowboarding. Anyone do the opposite of the warm beach vacation? Any warm beach vacation people? Okay, we have a couple here. Did any of you guys go to one of the Chiefs playoff games? Any? Hey, a handful of people. Man, it was a great season. I can't wait for next season. How many of you guys just went straight into hibernation for 5 weeks? Tons of sleeping, lots of that. And then, hey, how many of you guys made it to SMC in Oklahoma City? Good amount of us. Hey, SMC was a great time. I learned a ton myself, and I can't wait for SMC 2020. But hey, over break, Rachel, Titus, and I, we had a great break as well. A lot of family time. We actually recently started playing this game, Codenames. Have you guys been playing this? It's a really, really fun game. It's my new favorite board game. We played a lot of that with our family. But over our break, I would describe it as the break of Titus. Titus, our son, he just went through a lot. He popped in 2 new teeth. He began to crawl everywhere. He is climbing everywhere. He started to kind of play with us now, which he can't do that when he's a newborn. But he started to play with us. This is monumental, people, okay? But he's been climbing everywhere. And so I have a video for you guys of Titus. He just starts climbing. We were sitting in our living room, and he just goes over to the stairs, and he just starts getting after it. He's like, hey, I'm going. And he's just breathing heavy every single step. But he makes it. You'll see him. He'll get to the very top. But so we had to immediately go to Walmart. We had to go get the baby gate, because out of nowhere, he starts climbing. We got ourselves a climber. So he's almost there. He's like, oh, this is like Mount Everest. Look at this. Look at this kid. And boom, there we go. Titus. Man, that's been a lot of fun. But Titus, he's become a completely new little kid. He can kind of play with us now. We built a little fort the other day in our living room, and he kind of chase us around our little coffee table thing. And that's been a lot of fun. But Titus is recently, one of his new favorite games is it's got all these little blocks and I'll kind of block up like 2, 3 blocks and like make like 5 of those. And he just crawls and just like smashes them down and has this kind of like evil like laugh. And I'm just like, Rachel, like, should you be concerned? Like, it's kind of unique that he does it. But I'll tell you guys this, when I was watching Titus do this, it made me think of my faith. It made me think that if Tommy doesn't spend time building a deep, firm, long-lasting foundation in his faith, man, even a 9-month-old could knock it down. And so I started to think to myself, I have to take the time to build a deep foundation. I have to build my faith if I want it to last. When hardships come, when temptation comes, when I have the opportunity to influence others for Christ come. And if I want to, man, push through all of those different things and be used by God in that way, I have to take the time to build my own self. I have to take the time to build my own faith. And so I started to think, I began to ask myself, what am I building with my life? What am I building with my life right now? What kind of a man am I becoming? 26 years old. Who am I becoming? And what is my life building right now? And I'm sure all of you guys in here, I'm sure we've all asked that same exact question. Who am I becoming? And what is my life building right now? Spring semester 2019, what is my life building right now? And whether we realize it or not, we are all building something. We are all building something with our lives. Some of you guys might be fellas, hey, I'm trying to build bigger biceps. So you got the measuring tape and you measure them every single week. They're getting bigger. Some of you guys are trying to build more Instagram followers. Some of you architecture majors, it's syllabus week, and you're already trying to build your first project. Some of you guys in here, you're trying to build the courage to DM that girl that you have a crush on. Some of you guys in here, you are building the stamina and the endurance to run a half marathon, or maybe a marathon, a 5K. You're building the endurance to do that. And so as I think through all these different things, I want to make this point on your handout right there. What you are building today will determine who you become tomorrow. What you are building today will determine who you become tomorrow. So my question is for you guys, what are you building today? Who are you becoming? And do you want to build a deep relationship with God this semester? And do you want to build a deep relationship with God? And like Cody mentioned, we're going to be in 2 series this entire spring semester. And so when it comes to our faith, man, we want to build it so that we can send it to other people. And so these first few weeks, right up until spring break, we're going to be in this series called Build It. And what are the things that I can personally do to build a firm foundation in my faith? How do I actually do that? How do I make sure I build myself into a godly man, into a godly woman? And that is what our entire series is going to be about, and I can't wait for it. Man, I always want to be coming back to myself. Am I continuing to build myself into a godly man? I've been following Christ for almost 7 years now, and I always want to still have that thought. Am I continuing to build myself into a godly man? And know that all of our staff here, that is our exact heart for each and every one of you guys here. We want to help do whatever we can to help you guys build your faith. But not only is that our heart here, but all throughout the Bible, you see that God desires for us to build our faith. And I'm excited to look into that tonight. We're going to look through one passage because God paints a clear picture of how we can do that, of how we can build a firm foundation. So I'm looking forward to jumping in to our passage tonight. But before we look at that, I want to welcome up one of your classmates. His name is Daryl Reese. He was our student ambassador this last entire school year. He's a senior now, and Daryl has been taking the time over the last 4 years to build his faith so that he can send it to others, and is sending it to others. So welcome up Daryl as he shares.
All right. So coming to K-State, I really did not know what to expect. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and yeah, shout out to Dallas. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and I would say I kind of grew up in a pretty normal family. We would go to church on Sunday, and where I'm from, Easter Sunday was like the Sunday. You had to be Easter Sunday. But growing up, I played a lot of different sports. Football's kind of my sport, and I always wanted to play Division I football. I ended up coming to K-State as a preferred walk-on football player, and it was really a dream come true. So fast forward into the first semester of college, my freshman year, I really dove into the college culture, and but I ended up having a friend share the gospel with me, and it really didn't set in until second semester where God really started to change my heart about my life. A lot of things I was building my life around, like football, like trying to get the best GPA, and kind of trying to figure out the social scene on campus too. They really just weren't fulfilling me, and they weren't satisfying me like they once were. So I thought about, man, I want my life to have a greater impact. I want my life to have a greater purpose. And to be quite honest with you, I came to a point to where I only wanted to build, man, my life around Christ. And to build my faith as well. So I came to a point where I said, I want to, man, follow Christ and accept Him and start trusting Him with my life. And I even gave Christ an open mind and an open heart to playing football. And ultimately, He led me away from the football field. So I got plugged in with a group of guys. And these guys really started to help me build my relationship with Christ and really build my faith as well. I remember one of my friends used to call me and used to text me. He used to ask me, he's like, "Hey, Daryl, you want to come read the Bible with me?" So real early on, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, there's probably a lot of things I could be doing right now rather than reading the Bible. I could take a nap or watch Netflix or something like that. But the more that I decided to really open God's Word, open the Bible, really began to read it, God just really started to build my desire to really read His Word more and more, to build my faith based on God's Word, and really to start to apply it to my life as well. And there was another time, probably one of my best friends at my old apartment complex I used to stay at, he used to come over, used to just kick it, used to hang out, used to just chill. But this specific night he came over, we were just talking, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, Daryl," he was like, "Hey, bro, like, I wanna go pray right now, like, you wanna come pray with me?" And I'm thinking, okay, bro, it's like 30 degrees outside, you're trying to go outside and pray. I'm from Texas, and cold weather and Texans, we just don't have a good relationship together. But I'm thinking, like, man, he just told me, like, "Daryl, man, just come on, let's go." So I ended up grabbing the biggest coat in my closet. I made some hot chocolate so my hands won't get cold, and I ended up going with him. So as we're walking around the parking lot, I just hear him just start to pray. And I'm hearing him and how he's praying. He's praying specific prayers to God. And he's praying about himself. He's praying about his friends. He's praying about the campus and even the world. And in the midst of all that, he's really teaching me how to pray as well. He's teaching me how I can pray specific prayers, even pray to God daily, and even make it a part of my life. So I began praying. Praying specific prayers to God, praying about myself and about the different organizations I'm involved in, and even the campus as well. And I can really see how God is really building my heart, even building my faith, and even building my vision when it comes to my relationship with Christ, and when it comes to building my faith as well. So there's another time where I bumped into another friend on campus. And I kind of see that he kind of has like these note cards, that he just has in his hands. So obviously just me thinking like, man, this is, he's probably studying right now, being a good student. He's probably going through some vocab, studying for a test or something like that. So I asked him, like, "Hey, bro, what do you got on the verses?" Because I see man, on the verse he kind of had, on the note card he kind of had the verse on the note card. On the other side of the note card he had the reference for the verse as well. He just told me, he's like, "Bro, I'm just reviewing, man, different verses throughout the day so I can constantly be thinking about God's Word." And I'm thinking, like, man, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually want to start doing that, start building my faith by doing that. So I did. So I just started doing the same thing he did. I started just, reviewing different verses throughout the day so I can constantly be thinking about them so they could encourage me and help me, different situations that might happen throughout the day and on campus. So kind of just pretty much throughout these past couple of years, I've had a lot of different people kind of help me build my faith, even build my relationship with Christ. whether that's, and actually, I can, do that practically and build my faith practically on a daily basis. Whether that's, getting up before classes start, reading my Bible, or having a prayer life to where I can pray specific prayers to God throughout the day, or even reviewing verses throughout the day as well, and really start to apply it in my life. So, and because I have decided to build my faith over these past couple of years, there's a ton of joy in my life, a ton of passion in my life, a lot of peace in my life. And my life has a greater purpose and has a greater impact. Really, in the midst of all that, I can have a ton of fun doing that as well, all because I continue to build my faith. So with that, welcome back up, Tom.
Thank you, Daryl. And it's been cool, it's been cool just to even see it. See you really begin to build in your faith these last few years of college. But hey, like I said, we're going to dive into one passage tonight, and God is going to paint us just a very clear picture of how we can personally grow and build our faith. And so, it's in the book of 1 Peter, and if you're going to be in a Bible study this semester with Stumo, we're studying the book of 1 Peter the entire semester, verse by verse. I can't wait for it to begin. And so a little bit of background of 1 Peter. So it's written by one of Jesus' disciples, Peter. While he was following Jesus, he got a front row seat of learning about the life of Jesus, how he lived, what he talked about. And so Peter's going to paint us a clear picture of what it means to follow Jesus. And in the book of 1 Peter, he is talking to a group of Christians. They've begun to follow Christ, and they're really getting some kickback and some persecution, some hardships because of their faith. And in this letter, Peter is writing to inspire them, to encourage them, hey, keep going, keep pressing forward, keep following Christ. I know it's hard, but keep going. And so the book of 1 Peter is going to be amazing, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy it this semester. And so here at our Stumo nights, we're going to try and pull a lot of our passages from the book of 1 Peter. And for tonight, we're going to be in chapter 2, verses 2 through 5. And so let's read it here. Peter says, like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. As you come to him, the living stone, talking about Jesus, rejected by humans, but chosen by God and precious to him, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house. And so when I read this text, I really do think Peter is giving us these 4 keys to building our faith. And our first one tonight on your handout is that we can build it with desire. We can build it with desire. We go back to the main passage, and he says, like a newborn baby, he says, crave pure spiritual milk. Have this craving, have this desire, this longing to grow in your faith. And to build your faith, to become a godly man, a godly woman, to have this craving for it. And he compares it to a newborn baby. And I can tell you guys Titus, he is 9 months old. And I did the math on, so I was a math major in college. I did the math on this. This is one of Titus's first bottles, little guy. I did the math on this 2 days ago. Titus has had roughly 1,700 bottles of milk in the last 9 months. He's had 1,700 bottles of milk in the last 7 months. And Peter paints the picture like a newborn baby to crave spiritual milk. I can tell you what, Titus drinks frequently and fervently. It is crazy. He craves it like nothing else. He craves his milk so much that within the last month, we actually have to take Titus into a different room when his bottle is being made in the kitchen. Because he gets so excited for it, he starts freaking out, and he gets really, really fussy because he doesn't have the milk yet. So I have to go take him into another room, kind of entertain him for a little bit, while Rachel makes him his bottle. It's one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen, but he longs and craves his milk. And so when we give it to him, we show him the bottle, and he just starts to shake like this, and he starts like he wants to drink the milk, and it's time to eat, and he's happy. But Titus, he will do whatever it takes to build himself. And right now, that is in the form of drinking milk. And he lets us know that. He cries, he screams. We know when it's time for Titus to eat. And that is the picture that Peter is painting for us. We can build our faith with desire, with this craving. And this isn't the only place that we see this in the Bible. We go back to the Old Testament, the book of Psalm, written by a guy named David. Let's read this. It says, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When can I go and meet with God?" David is talking about his relationship with God, and he compares it to a deer just panting for streams of water. And then he's talking about his own desire to know God, to build his faith. And he says, when can I go and meet with God? When is the next time I get to go experience the joy and the goodness of my relationship with God? I want to build myself. And he says, when is the next time I get to go and meet with God? And we all know this feeling. We all know this feeling of, when is the next time I get to go do that? Every time I have Panda Express, when it comes to the end of my to-go box, I'm like, when do I get to go get some more orange chicken? It is so good. It is so good. Cherry Coke, every time it comes to the end of the can, when is the next can going to come? Sometimes during a Chiefs game, I might have 3 or 4. And that's probably not healthy, but it's that good. I love Cherry Coke. During a Chiefs game, 3 or 4 might go down. It's that good. The Chiefs football season, I can't wait for September. I can't wait to see Pat Mahomes 60-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill for 3 months. I can't wait to see that again. An evening K-State football game in the fall. Right? When do I get to experience that again? Those of you guys that went skiing, you're at the top of the mountain, fresh pow-pow, right? The evergreen trees. And you decide to go down the mountain, wind blowing in your face, and you get to the bottom of the mountain, and you're like, when do I get to do that again? We all know this feeling that David is talking about, that Peter is talking about. It is this desire, this craving to build our faith and to know God. We all know that feeling. One thing that I am deeply craving and desiring right now is awaiting me in Foley, Alabama this summer. And it is the blueberry cobbler at Moe's Barbecue. Look, guys, it comes straight from the oven in this little cup of goodness. It is like so warm, it kind of burns your mouth a bit, but you don't even care. It is that good. It is so soft, but this like the top layer is like that crumble crisp. You don't even have to chew. It just disintegrates. It blows my mind. I cannot wait to get back to Foley, Alabama, to have their blueberry cobbler. It is so good. They only sell it one random day of the week. They don't tell the public when they're going to sell it. It's that good. So when I go to Foley, Alabama, I want to go every day to check in. Hey, you guys, sir? You know, like the goods, you know? That is how bad I long for this blueberry cobbler. I can't wait. It is awaiting in Foley, Alabama this summer. I deeply, deeply crave this cobbler. I tell you what, I would do some crazy stuff for a piece of cobbler from Moe's Barbecue. I would do some crazy stuff. But let me tell you this. You guys have to go and experience it yourself. I wish I could communicate how good it is. But is that not the picture that Peter was painting for us? To crave, to long for, to desire to grow in your faith. That's the picture that God paints for us. To have this desire, you will grow and build your faith if you crave and desire to know God. And so for you guys here, maybe just write it on your handout. Scale of 1 to 10. Maybe write it on your handout. How would you rate your current desire to know God this semester? Maybe just write it there on your handout. Not only can we build our faith with desire, but we can build it with vision. We can build it with vision. Let's go back to our text. He says, like newborn babies crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation. Peter is saying he wants them to see the big picture. He's talking to these new followers of Christ. He says, hey, I want you guys to see the big picture. I want you to see the big vision, and it is to grow in your salvation, which is just kind of a fancy way to say to become more and more like Jesus, to increasingly become more like Jesus. Peter paints the big picture for them. He says, hey, this is the vision that I have when it comes to building your faith. It is to grow in your salvation. And this Greek word to grow up that we see here, it's to increase, it's to become greater. You almost get the picture of kind of like a snowball beginning to roll down a hill. It just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is the picture that's being painted for us. When it comes to growing in our faith, we can build our faith and it will just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we will become more and more like Jesus. He wants us to see the end vision of it all. And because we do have to see the big vision, we don't just wing it. We don't just wing it and say, hey, I hope this goes well. Like we don't do that when it comes to our faith. We have to have plans necessary. When you have the end goal vision, you don't just wing it. This Tuesday, man, first K-State football practice. Do you guys think Coach Kleiman showed up on day one and said, hey fellas, what do you guys want to do today? I said, no, that didn't happen. Coach Kleiman has an end goal for the team. He has a vision for the team, and I guarantee you he showed up with a practice schedule ready and saying, hey fellas, let's get to work. We have to see the end vision of it all. And so I really do want to ask you guys this question. What do you want to be true of your life in 6 months? That's late July right now. In 6 months, what do you want to be true of yourself? What about in 1 year? 1 year from right now, January of 2020, what do you want to be true of yourself? What about when you graduate from college? 10 years, 15 years? How often do you guys ask yourself that question? What do I want to be true of myself in 6 months? I want to be able to read the Bible, to apply it to my life. I want to know how to pray. I want to know how to overcome sin in my life. I want to know how to impact other people. And we need to ask ourselves that question so that we have the vision. And what are we really going after? One of the most powerful quotes that I've ever heard in my entire life comes from a woman, Helen Keller, blind and deaf. You guys have heard of Helen Keller. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. That's a pretty powerful statement. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. When it comes to building your guys' faith, what vision do you have? What do you want to be true of your life? What kind of man do you want to be? What kind of woman do you want to be? What vision do you have for your life? And I'll tell you guys this, you can have whatever vision you want. It doesn't have to be to build a deep faith. You can have whatever vision you want. But when we look at the book of 1 Peter, what Peter's trying to communicate to us, God's desire is for us to become godly men and women. And that is the vision that he paints for us. This is crazy right here. Do you guys know who this is? I'll be really impressed. Anyone know who this is? This is Mukesh Ambani. He is the owner of Reliance Industries over in the Middle East. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. It's basically just a big trading business in the Middle East. And Mukesh Ambani is the owner of it. My boy Mukesh lives in the biggest house in the entire world. Biggest house in the entire world. Look at that. That is crazy. Look at that. He and his family live there. Let me tell you a little bit about this house. It is so big, he gave it a name. Its name is Antilia. Don't know what it means, but he named the house. That's how big it is. It is 400,000 square feet. It is 27 floors. A lot of the floors are double vaulted ceilings, so it's actually the size of a 60-story building. 6 of the 27 floors are garages for his car collection. He has a car mechanic shop in his house. It gets really hot in India. Hey, Mukesh, I know you're hot. Hey, just go up to your snow room. Just let some snow fall on you. You know, I'm like, hey, I'll just go stick my head in the freezer for a little bit. He's like, hey, I've got a snow room for myself. This house is 550 feet tall. To put that into perspective, that is 5 feet shorter than the Washington Monument. It is the largest house in the entire world. So Mukesh, he had a vision. He knows exactly what he wants in his house. He hires an architecture company, a team of about 27 architects, and he gives them this vision of what he wants in his house. And they draw up the blueprints for it, and they give it to the construction company. Do you guys think the construction company shows up on day one and says, hey, Phil, let's just see what happens, let's start building it? No. They go straight to the blueprint that Mukesh had helped design so that the construction people knew how to build. And I think it's the same thing for us when it comes to building our faith. Just like Mukesh, he had a vision. What vision do you guys have for your life? What kind of woman do you want to be? What kind of man do you want to be? We need to build it with vision. What is the long-term goal? In regards to our faith, we can build it with vision, but also we can build it with gratitude. We can build it with gratitude. We go back to our main passage, 1 Peter. And what does he say? He says, you guys have tasted that the Lord is good. He said, hey, you guys have become Christians. You guys have begun to follow Christ. You guys have tasted the goodness and the joy of what it means to be in a right relationship with God. And why are they craving to grow in their faith? It's because they have tasted that the Lord is good. They have understood and comprehended and responded that God sent Jesus to die for the sin of the world. And they responded to that. And what is the response? They are growing. They are building their faith because of what God has done for them, what Jesus has done for us. And they're building it with gratitude. We see how they respond. Have you guys ever given a gift at Christmas and you can tell the person didn't like it that much? Have you guys ever been in that scenario? They open up your gift and they're like, oh, that's good. You know? Man, that's what I've been in that moment. I've actually done that before, which is not grateful. We always know how grateful someone is based upon their response. I'm sure you guys have given gifts before, and the people are beaming, they're smiling, they're so thankful that they use the gift, they wear the gift, whatever it might be. But it's gratitude. You know how grateful someone is based upon how they respond. One of the most soft spots in my entire heart is watching those videos of when walk-on recruits, in a very surprised way, they find out that they've been put on a scholarship. You guys seen these videos? Man, they make me cry so fast, it's crazy. But in my own life, I was a walk-on here at K-State on the track team. They didn't seek out and recruit me or anything, but Coach Revelto, my head coach, he allowed me to walk on. I was grateful for that. Should not have been at the D1 level, but I was grateful for it. But in an even more grateful moment, it was my sophomore year. I was sitting in a hotel room over winter break. I was actually at Stumo's conference, SMC. My sophomore year, I was still on the walk-on status, and I was sitting on the couch in the hotel room, and I look at my phone, and I have a text sitting from Cliff Revelto. And I look up the text, and I read it. It says, hey, we appreciate what you've been putting into practice and everything. And it says, hey, we would like to put you on scholarship. And he attached the amount by it. And I froze. I was overwhelmed with emotion. I called my parents, cried a little bit. But there's just a lot of emotion. I was grateful. I had this inner passion just to give it everything I had the next 3 years because Coach Roberto decided to invest in me. He was giving me a shot to be on scholarship. I was so grateful. And my response was, hey, Tommy, you're in the 6 a.m. weights group, Monday through Friday. Okay, man, it doesn't matter. Hey, practice 6 days a week. Okay, it doesn't matter. I was so grateful for the opportunity, and because he decided to invest in me as an athlete, I wanted to do everything that I could to become the best pole vaulter that I could be for the University of Kansas State. I was so grateful of what Coach Roberto had extended me, and I wanted to respond to that because I was grateful. And I can't speak enough about Coach Roberto, the opportunities that he's given me. But when it comes to our faith, do we know the why? Why would I build my faith? Why would I crave to know God? Why would I have a vision for this? It's because Jesus died for you. And I want to respond to that moment with so much gratitude. That's what Peter is talking about in that passage. They have tasted that the Lord is good, and we see them respond by building their faith. So we can build our faith with desire, we can build it with vision, we can build it with gratitude, and lastly, tonight, we can build it with patience. We can build it with patience. Let's go back to the passage at the very end. He's saying, you also, like living stones, are being built into a spiritual house. He's talking about, hey, you individual followers of Christ, you guys are all like living stones that I am crafting, and I am building all of you guys into this spiritual house of followers of Christ. And all of you guys here that are following Christ, you are an individual part and an individual stone to that spiritual house being built. You personally are being built. But look at the words he says, you are being built. It is this continuation that I have to be patient with. This is going to take time. This word, it's an architectural type word. It's to build up. It's the same word used in Colossians 2, 6 and 7. Let's read it. He says, so then, just as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, okay, you have just come to Christ, continue to live your lives in Him, rooted and built up in Him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. This same word, built up, same word in our 1 Peter passage. And the root word of all of this, it's a Greek word called oikodomio, and it's to build up from the foundation. It's saying, hey, spend time, be patient, build some depth to your walk with God up from the foundation, and it is going to be built. But we have to take the time and be patient to build it. You know, our culture is just so just instant gratification. Just give it to me now. It's growing in your faith and building a firm foundation. It's not a microwave type thing. It's a crock pot type thing. You guys feel me on that? It's not a microwave type thing. It is a crock pot type thing. That is the picture that Peter is painting for us. We live in a fast-paced, impatient culture. And when it comes to building our faith, it's going to take time. It takes time to build deep character. It takes time to build deep convictions, to build yourself as a godly man, as a godly woman. You know, you're not going to just understand the Bible cover to cover overnight, and that's okay. You may not feel comfortable or confident to pray for 25 minutes just overnight, and that's okay. Man, you're not just going to become this man or woman of integrity, commitment, humility, toughness, whatever it might be, just overnight, and that's okay. You may not just be able to just overcome this area of sin or temptation that you maybe struggle with just overnight, and that's okay. But are you striving for that? Are you striving for that? Are you being patient along the process? And I just get this picture of it as just this constant, faithful pace, just day in, day out. God, I want to grow. I'm growing. I'm being patient, but I'm growing along the way. Is that what you are striving for? And I'm convinced that the most impressive, beautiful, strong, long-lasting things are built over an extended period of time. Do you guys agree with that? And look at this, the Golden Gate Bridge, beautiful. Took 4 years to build. The Burj Khalifa, tallest building in the entire world in Dubai, took 5 years to build. The Great Pyramids, a team of 100,000 workers every single day, 20 years to build that. Some of you guys aren't even 20 years old in here. Your entire life they've spent building these pyramids. Patrick Mahomes, 23 years to build this. It's amazing. I love Patrick Mahomes, okay? 23 years, he's been working to build himself into what I hope is the MVP of the NFL. I get it? Right on with that. Come on. Yeah. This next one is amazing. One of the great wonders of the world, the Great Wall of China, took 220 years to build. 220 years to build. Guys, this is 13,170 miles long total. Okay, Tommy, that's a random number. To put that into perspective for you guys, that could stretch across the United States 5 times. 5 times. Took 220 years to build. You guys think those builders had patience? Some of them didn't even get to live to see the end product. 220 years to build. It takes time. We have to be patient. I told you guys about Titus a little bit earlier. Titus right now, he is growing. And he has to be extremely patient. He is growing. He had a doctor's appointment the other day. He's gaining weight, getting taller. Like I said, he has 2 teeth now. But right now, so he can currently kind of like just grab the side of the couch, but that's about it. And he doesn't know how to like get back down. So he just like starts like shaking, like he just starts to freak out because he doesn't know how to get back down to his bottom. It's kind of weird, but he can. Another weird thing is about maybe 1 month ago, Titus, he could not pick up a piece of banana and put it in his mouth. He didn't have the motor skills to do that. Think about that. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I would watch him for a couple minutes and I'm just like this. And he's just like doing this number and like totally misses. Jeez. It was one of the most unique things I've ever seen, but he's growing and he's being patient. It can be frustrating to him at times because he's wanting to get food in his mouth now. And when he couldn't crawl, he would lay on his stomach. He's trying to go get his toy or something, but he would just kind of like do this number. He couldn't crawl, and he just shook on the ground. It was again one of the most unique things I've ever seen. But now he's crawling all over the place. He's climbing our stairs. And Titus he doesn't understand this right now, but he's in the process of being matured into a grown man one day. He's being patient. He's making progress. But I tell you what, if he's not consistently growing over 3 months, 3 years, and nothing's growing, something's wrong. You know, if Titus, when he's at the age of 17 and only has 2 teeth still and still pooping his pants, that's a problem. Like something isn't right if that is still taking place. I really hope he's not still pooping his pants at age 17. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. When we go back to our passage, he says, you are being built. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take a lot of patience along the way. So tonight, we can build a deep faith, a strong foundation, a solid faith. We can do it. We can build it with desire. We can build it with vision. We can build it with gratitude. And we can build it with patience. And so where are you guys all here tonight? That's where I want to end. Where are you guys here tonight? You might be following Christ. Maybe you started following Christ last semester. Maybe you started following Christ at SMC. Maybe you've been following Christ for a few years. Maybe you're not following Christ yet. Wherever you're at, man, we want to help you build your faith this semester. Man, first thing, man, keep seeking to learn what it means to commit to following Christ if you're not following Him yet. Keep looking into that. What does this mean? Man, second thing, I want to invite you guys, keep coming back to our STUMO nights as we are in this series about our faith called Build It. Man, keep coming back over the next few weeks. So we're going to be hearing from Heath, Jacob, Alex, and Bob about these topics of very practical things. How do I build my faith? Man, the day in, day out, I'm here in college. How do I do this? Here in between the Bible and fellowship, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk about relationships amongst the Valentine's Day season. It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to hear about that a little bit later tonight. So keep coming back to our STUMO nights. Another thing that you guys are going to want to check out later tonight is get plugged into a Bible study. We'll have some sign-ups later tonight. We're going to be studying the book of 1 Peter this semester. Another opportunity that you guys will hear about here later tonight is go to the 2 weeks of 2.0. It's a growth opportunity that we're going to have of 2 weeks of how do we live out our faith in college. Another one, find someone who can help you build your faith. Maybe there's someone that lives on your dorm floor or in your Greek house on your team that you're friends with who might just be a little bit further along in their faith. Ask them, hey, will you help me build my faith? That's what I want. That's what I want in my life. And lastly, apply for Kaleo. It's our 9-week faith and leadership project this summer. Apply for Kaleo. Where I want to end tonight, let's go back to our passage. Notice that Peter says, as you come to him. He's saying, as you come to him, God isn't going anywhere. He says, as you come to him, the pace to which you build your faith is up to you. It can go as fast as you want it to be. It can go as slow as you may want it to be. Man, you could learn to study and apply and read the Bible to impact others in 6 months or 6 years. It's up to you. He says, as you come to him, God's not going anywhere. Sorry with this tonight. What you are building today will determine who you become tomorrow. All of us here, we have the opportunity to build ourselves into godly men of character, godly women of character. We all in here sit with the same exact opportunity to build ourselves, that we have this unique, special flavor of knowing God and having a deep relationship with God. We all sit in here with the same opportunity to impact other people for Christ. We all have that opportunity. Every single one of us in here. Not only do we all have the same opportunity, but we all sit here with the same exact reality. We will all build something with our life. We will all build something with our life. And my question for you guys, what are you going to build? What are you going to build? Let me pray for us. God, we're grateful that, that you sent Jesus to die for us, for our sin. And God, we're grateful that you give us the things necessary to know you, to have a deep relationship with you. And God, I just pray for every single one of us here that we would just have the desire to know you, to build a deep relationship with you. God, that we would have the gratitude because of what you've done for us on the cross. God, give us patience as we build our faith. And God, just help us and have this vision of who we want to become in regards to our faith. God, we're grateful for you, what you've done in our hearts. And God, we just want to know you personally and bring you glory. So God, we pray this in your name. Amen.